Hello viewers, you are here with Creedom Publishing Company, the home of creative freedom. And in today's video, we are going to unbox a coloring book made through Createspace. Alright, the coloring book is going to be for the CrimeFighters, Defenders of Justice. This is a storybook, as some of you may know from watching other previous videos. So today we're going to have a coloring book that goes along with it. We are looking for specific things when it comes to the coloring books. And the first thing is the quality. As many of you may know, and those who do not know, Createspace does not have print options specifically for coloring books. So basically, the coloring book we purchase is basically printed on their standard novel print book. So, or print paper. So we'll have to see how this turns out. And as you can see here, we just have a couple things, including crayons, just so we can test the quality of the paper if it turns out good. Just a couple comparisons. It's going to be 8.5 by 8.5, which is the size of the storybooks, just so it can go along with it well, because standard coloring books are the standard size of 8.5 by 11, but because we wanted this, they're selling together. You can keep them together nicely. We just made them 8.5 by 8.5 to match the children's book. So to go over it, we used the glossy cover. A couple of things we ordered, used the glossy cover, and we went with the cream pages. One of the things that we were torn between was going between the white pages and the cream pages, because we thought the white pages would turn out better when it comes to coloring. But as you may see, it's the Paw Patrol. These pages are cream. Even this one. These are lighter. These are already colored, but these are a lighter cream, but they're still cream. This are white pages. This right here. This book has white pages, but it's color printing, so that's expected. So because the standard in the print industry now for coloring books is mostly on cream paper, when it comes to children coloring books, we just went with the cream paper and the black ink to see how it turns out. And hopefully it turns out well. The one thing about the cream paper with Createspace is has a little more yellowish tint than, I don't know if you can see it. This is a black badge copy, and this is basically going to be the same exact paper. So it's a little bit more yellowish and creamy than coloring book paper, but Createspace does not have an option, so we had to improvise. So we're going to go ahead along and open this bad boy up. Got a handy dandy knife. And see what we have. It's a true unboxing. Open up. Alright. We will start from the cover. Wow. Excited already. And just to grab one of the books out. This is nice. This is very nice. And obviously, if you look at the cover, it goes right along with the children's book. So this is a great, nice pair to have. Great little collection that's coming out. The storybooks are coming out this summer as well, and we'll just review this coloring book. So one of the things we want to go over as well is, just like the children's book, we left the space for the barcode to be inputted by Createspace. So we'll see how that turned out, and it turned out well. So they put the ISBN number, and the back cover looks good. The quality of the cover looks real good. So again, this is glossy. One thing about the coloring book, it is 108 pages, which is very good for a coloring book, because most of them, as you can see with the Paw Patrol, they're very thick. So they have a lot of pages to them, and when people look at coloring books and activity books, they're going to want this amount of pages. The home one is a little thin, but these are rare. Usually most coloring books for children are thick and have a lot of things inside for them to do, coloring and activities. So it's 108 pages. The one thing about Createspace with the cream paper and the black ink it's the same price to have a book printed with 24 pages as it was for 108 pages, and it was still very affordable. It was around $2.15, I believe. So that's one thing that's very, 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 very good and very much on your side, is you put a lot of content in a coloring book, and the price won't go up like it would with a children's book. That's only under one condition. That's only if you use the standard cream or white paper with the black ink. If you use, one of the things I heard people say is to get the thick quality of coloring book paper, which Createspace doesn't have, they've used the white ink with the color printing, because the color printing paper is thicker than the paper used for novels. And they just use black ink and made a coloring book that way, because the paper is thicker and won't have the contents bleeding on the opposite side of the pages. And most people who've done that made adult coloring books, because adult coloring books mostly use markers and they will bleed through. Markers will bleed through, so they just print on one side and left the other side blank, which is another option you can do. And obviously, with that option, if you're leaving the one side blank, then you can just go with the standard black ink on white paper or cream paper and get your money's worth by getting 100 pages. Because if you're gonna leave one side blank, you got to go with enough pages. And going with the coloring book option, the full color, and just printing it, it's going to cost more. So just for comparisons, it was cheaper to make this coloring book with 108 pages than it was to make this print book for 46 pages. So weigh your options. So we're going to take a look inside, and the coloring paper looks good. Not bad, not bad, not bad. CrimeFighters coloring activity book. This is nice. This is nice. As you can see, wait, we'll see. We'll lift this page up. You can kind of see through the other side, but once again, if you're using crayons, it's not a bad thing. Nice. Yeah, this paper is very thin. You can clearly see the image on the back. So that's one thing you may want to take an option. It's not a big deal to me, because once the paper's flat and they're coloring it in, like I said, it's for children. So obviously the next side, which is cool coloring pages, and we had a little trim on there. So, and the trim was actually cut off. So if you can see, the trim was cut off during the printing. So that's one thing we need to look at and adjust. Not really a big deal, but that's something you'll have to take care of. And the same thing happened here with this trim. Just need to make the trim a little thicker, basically, so it can come down, or take the trim out. Just things to consider. But the printing looks good, and it should be easy to color. In comparison to the Paw Patrol, obviously you can see it's a little more yellowish. The Paw Patrol coloring paper has a little bit more gray tint to it, but it's still not bad. The only issue I see is the trim with the printing and when they cut it, which is still not that big of a deal. So this looks good to me. So the next thing I want to do is take and I'll give this book away, probably to one of the kids. So I'll take this and color it in, so we can get an idea of what to look forward to once the kids color pages in. And excuse me if I don't stay in the line. So what we're doing right here is just coloring the pages, so we can make sure once kids color the pages in, they're able to, first of all, and once they do it, their crayon isn't bleeding on to the other side, which it shouldn't, because it's a pretty thick paper. And one of the rumors I've also heard is that the cream paper is slightly thicker than white paper when it comes to printing. They're the exact same size, so I don't really know how true that is, but if it is, that's another reason you want to go with cream rather than the white. And like I said, this looks great. The white probably will look good as well, but to me, this looks great. So we'll color that in. I'll just color the whole door in, and we'll see if it comes through to the other side. And if it does, it might not be a big deal, but that's something you want to take into consideration, and it doesn't. So for those of you who want to create a coloring book with Createspace, see, no red, no pink, looks good. So it's a good coloring book. We use the regular print, so you can save a lot of money. You won't have to use the color paper and the color ink with the white paper. You can choose the option of black and white printing on cream or white pages. And especially if you're doing a children's book and you know they're going to be using crayons, definitely go with this because it looks good. The printing is good. Just one thing you need to be mindful of is the trim you put around your edges when uploading. But once again, that's during the submission process, and we can get in more detail with that in our book from C.L. Lowry, The Success and Struggles, or The Struggles and Success of Self-Publishing. He goes into great detail about submissions and the errors, because we had a lot of errors when it came to the bleed area and the outer margins that needed to be trimmed down when it came to submitting this coloring book. We had way more errors than in this coloring book than we did in the children's book, so we'll get into full detail with that. So look forward to that. It comes out in the summertime, and obviously we have a lot of activities. We have name writing, which came out great. It actually came out bigger. We have CrimeFighters trivia in this coloring book, and along with the coloring, we have the rhyme time. We have a lot of things. We have the mazes, a lot of good things in this book, and we have math, of course, just so your kids are learning and having fun at the same time. And in the back, we have space for them to see. That's the trace a badge, and they also can draw a badge and draw their own crime fighters. This book looks great, absolutely great. Obviously, there's Creedom Publishing, and these are a list of books that are coming soon, the storybooks. So 100% love it. You can make coloring books for Createspace for children, and they look good. Obviously, this one actually has a wider spine, so you can actually put the title on the spine, but we didn't choose to do so, and probably won't, because you can just stack them up, put them on the shelf, or stack them up, put them in the bag when the kids are ready to go. Easy to travel with, and nice even size. So you can visit Amazon.com or CreedomPublishing.com to order these books. They're the Crime Fighters introduction books, so the kids get to know them, and then the Crime Fighters activity and coloring books, so they can actually color in their superheroes. So change the colors of the suits, whatever they want. There are activities in there, some good math activities, some writing activities. They will love it. They will absolutely love it. Check out our website for events and when we're in your area at book festivals and signings. And if you have any questions, anything you want us to upload regarding publishing with Createspace, because that's mainly who we go with, then just drop it in the comment box or email us at creedompublishing@outlook.com. All right, and make sure you hit the subscribe videos, because we have a ton of more informative videos coming soon. The next one will be setting up a vending table for your books at events, so that'll be a nice, good, informative video. And all this information that we're putting in videos are being summed up, but they will be in complete detail in C.L. Lowry's book, The Struggles and Success of Self-Publishing. So you will make minimal mistakes if you get that book. That comes out in the summertime. That's just for up-and-coming authors who are already established, when they want to do events that worked out for him, all types of tips for self-publishing from someone who has made a lot of mistakes and has made a lot of good decisions, and he'll tell you those things so you don't have to make the same mistakes and you can have a very successful career. But once again, the Crime Fighters, Defenders of Justice. Make sure you get a copy from our website or from Amazon for your children. They will absolutely love them. We're getting very good reviews from them already. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video, leave a comment, order the books, and stay tuned. Stay blessed.